Hey girl, or boy, you know, I just want to make you feel good right now. Let me take you there. To audibletrial.com/jumbled. They got all the giant, long audiobooks. This shit's ridiculous. But head over. I can't even do. Head over and listen. It's free shit, you know. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Jumbled, your favorite podcast about nothing. I'm Zach, and I am also unprepared. Jonny is in Japan for the month, pretty much. He's been a couple weeks is his vacation that he took, so he's there for another week. Actually, I think next week will be another week without Jonny. I'll try to get something more original happening for next week, but for this week, we are going to go back in the vault again. We're going to dip back into the vault because I'm just not willing to sit here and try to ramble off a bunch of stuff for an hour and try to make something happen. Just not feeling it right now. And you know what? Gonna have a movie night with my kiddos and eat some dinner and stuff. Haven't done any of that yet, but gonna get to that here shortly. But first, I want to let you guys know that we are going back, even though I'm 31. I chose this episode for two reasons. Number one, because of the title of the episode, which is Peehole penetration. I'm 31, let me say that again. And number two, because it is episode 69. And again, I'm 31. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. Jumbled Rewind, episode 69. Peehole penetration. We'll see you guys next week for another episode. But for now, please enjoy, and we will see you guys soon. Okay, bye. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Jumbled, your favorite podcast about nothing. I'm Zach, and I'm pissed.
And I'm Jonny, and I'm also pissed, but also excited. But also pissed. Maybe more pissed? I don't know.
So, a little backstory here. We were recording for 30 minutes, and then we figured out that Jonny's audio was messing up, and then it turned out it was messed up.
I laid down 4 test tracks, no issues. And then it recorded the first little bit fine. And then at some point, it decided to just fucking quit. You're ruining this glorious episode, GarageBand or Apple, and you're making it real hard for me to love you unconditionally.
It's true.
I'm going to start putting some conditions on my love.
What are those conditions?
Like work. Number 1.
You just got to work.
Do what I paid for.
I like it. Well, you know, we're rolling with it, man. You know, you just got to take it as it is.
That's
Jonny said it was
true.
a special episode, and as you guys saw, and maybe you're as perverted as we are, and you put 2 and 2 together, it's episode 69.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, the good thing about this is now we can put in the parental warning.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Jonny, do you want to take care of the parental warning? Because my parents won't be listening to this.
Mom, we're gonna listen or talk about some weird things. you might just, just stop listening.
Yeah,
I don't
come
know.
back next week, maybe.
Your call. I'm just, who knows where this one's gonna go? It is episode 69.
Yeah, Canadian Thanksgiving is gonna be a weird one this year, man.
That's not until October. She'll forget.
Yeah.
Oh, she's gonna be so disappointed in me.
Yeah, it's okay. So, we sort of already touched on it. It feels like, I know this is the first time the listeners are hearing anything what we're saying, but it does feel a little weird to go back through and try to talk about the same thing that we were just talking about.
It really does, but I feel like we still got to touch on the length of pornos. Because that is a question that I've always asked myself while I have casually, accidentally stumbled upon porn sites while I was Googling completely innocent things.
Completely, yeah.
Who the fuck watches an hour-long free porno? An even better question, not even the length, who the fuck is still paying for porn these days?
Yeah,
that's what I want to know, Zach.
There was a Facebook group that was dedicated to giving out. So there was a guy at Graceland, will remain unnamed, won't say names. He lived on a different house, whatever. But it got around that somebody for his birthday had gotten him a subscription to a porn website, and it was awesome because they just put the credentials out there on this Facebook group, and then you just joined it and you had it, and you could log in, whatever. And the subscription, like, it ended, it didn't get renewed or anything like that, but the credentials still worked to get onto the website for like another 3 years before they figured it out. Yeah,
and those tiny porn websites are always fucking up something.
Dude, yeah, but it was like, I forget, feel like it was a Brazzers company or something like that, so it was pretty big time stuff.
Yeah, just slipped through the cracks.
And so it was amazing. So I have not since accessed, premium content site. I do get it, because if you want to see the full length video, like sometimes I'm like, I'll find a video and it's like 60 minutes long or whatever, 30 minutes long even. And I'm like, I don't want to see all of it, but I'll skip ahead to, maybe a certain position or something like that works better for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a lot of these free sites, you're only getting like clips, like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever.
Yeah, what else do you need?
No, and that's fine.
I need an intro, like why are they in this situation? I need a middle, which is basically just whatever they're really good at, and then I need an end,
Give me the cliff notes.
Yeah, exactly.
We should create a cliff notes for porn.
Yeah, it's called fast forward.
No,
Watch it at 10 times speed. That guy's got a lot of stamina.
Yeah. No, it's like you just give like a brief intro, like, all right, dude showed up. He said he had a sausage pizza, whatever. This is where we are now. This is why he's wearing it.
Yeah, I like that. If it was a narrator.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is there no narration porn? Or why haven't I not stumbled across narration porn?
You got to feel like Morgan Freeman would make a killing, dude.
Oh my God. Do you think there's porn for blind people? Like describe.
Oh my God, I've never thought about that.
Whoa, my mind is blown right now.
Holy shit, dude. Maybe that's a thing. Hold on, I'm actually gonna look that up right now.
What? So before my audio decided to completely die, we were talking about my potential fear of the porn black hole, which is essentially when we're kids. And the internet first became a thing, or like, cable TV, and there's this weird high level channels that you didn't get, but you still kind of picked up half a signal. And you could see a green boob and it would get you off.
Yeah.
But now, I'm 30 and I've been watching porn for, Mom, plug your ears if you're still listening, I don't know, 20 years. Sometimes you need something a little more intense,
It's true, and,
where does that going to take you?
Yeah. I don't know, like we'd talked about previously on the previous recording, but it's like all it used to take for me was just like watching the WWE divas walk down to the ring, and that was it, and that was maybe 20 seconds, but it was like, I had lotion and I had
lotion. I never use lotion,
dude. Let me tell you something. I walked into a bathroom the other day, and it smelled like the specific type of lotion that I would use.
Oh, it got you going, didn't it?
Yeah, rock hard, dude. And no, so I was immediately transported back to my teenage room, and I just sort of felt like a weird form
into your socks,
like a weird form of shame or something. It was pretty well, not shame, but like sort of weird. Just felt sort of weird in that moment, and I was like, I probably should get out of this bathroom. I don't know why it smelled like lotion. There wasn't lotion in the bathroom, so maybe
just start like obsessively masturbating.
That would have been awkward. It was at work.
Oh God! The old work jerk.
Have you ever done that?
No.
Don't need to incriminate yourself, but
But I guarantee you there's people that are like, oh, I gotta go poop.
yeah. Why did it take you 30 minutes?
I think, wait, it doesn't take you 30 minutes to poop?
No, it definitely does.
You know, that is one thing I will say for women in masturbation. They can do it sneakily so much better.
Yeah.
It's really hard to sneak around with an erection, you know?
Yeah, well, they have,
A pocket.
they can conceal stuff, just shove something up into that space. Guys are just like, it's
pretty simple.
Yeah, but when when we're in that place because you can see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I think I maybe shared this story once, but Allie and I went to the Science Center and they do adult nights. So it's adults only and they serve booze and stuff. And one time we were there it was like the science behind love and relationships and sex or something. So one of the booths areas that they had was basically just like a sex toy vendor.
Nice.
And they had a sex toy that connected to Wi-Fi somehow. I think it was like Bluetooth to your phone and then to Wi-Fi. So there was
kept stats on all your masturbation, like your orgasms.
No, I wish that would be pretty awesome. But it was basically you insert a little vibrator into the woman or the man if that's your jam.
Sure.
And then you could give the controller to your partner, who anywhere in the world, as long as it was connected to a phone or internet, could turn it on and off and like put different settings. So the idea was you could be wearing it at work, and then all of a sudden, you're thinking of your partner. You turn it on so they know, and it starts vibrating up a storm.
Yeah, that's super dangerous if you forget that there's something in there, and then you're like, I got to go to a meeting with a partner or something.
Just imagine like your dog sitting on the remote or something, just pounding away, just getting boned by your dog.
Yeah, later you're like, oh my god, you were so vicious with it today.
What?
And she's like, what? I
The
left the
remote's all
remote at
chewed up.
home. I can't find the remote. Where is it?
Oh no.
Oh god, that'd be awful, dude. I did look up blind people porn. Mm-hmm. Apparently this is something that Pornhub Pornhub was looking into. Let's see here.
Described video porn.
Yeah, so they said they're integrating audio focused series.
Oh, man, that's gonna be my new thing to listen to at work instead of podcasts.
Just porn for blind people. So it's sort of like
that's messed up.
And don't think of me poorly, but if there is an option between using a restroom with multiple stalls and then using the handicapped bathroom, where it's a one-person bathroom, but it's
I think that makes a little bit more sense if you have to
more spacious. I'm definitely taking that one.
If you're in an area and you have to manage that. I mean, obviously you want to go into a private situation. You don't want to be like cranking one out and then some dude dropping some nasty deuces next to you. Unless that's your thing, which, I'm sure that is some people's things.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would ever do that, but I don't know, man. So I guess that makes sense that it would just be audio focused, but like I don't know how that would work.
Well, it's like the same way they do movies. You hear the movie, but then there's a narrator telling you what's going on at the same time, which I feel would make it very confusing.
Yeah.
But somehow it works.
Yeah, I would think they would just be doing a lot more talking. Like, instead of just, I don't know. I feel like, but I also feel like, is that, like, completely necessary? Because
blind people don't need to jerk off?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, is it necessary to change it up so much? Because you're still getting the moans. You're still getting the sounds of...
Yeah, but maybe you want to know what's causing those moans. You need Morgan Freeman telling you the exact speed at which the strokes are happening. Do you ever match your
switched
strokes
over
to
reverse cowgirl?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, here we go.
Oh, God. I don't even want to think about Morgan Freeman doing that.
You know what the other thing is that we need to bring up again, because one, it was a fantastic realization, but I also want to just truly cement that in your memory, is when we talked about porn sites and we came to the understanding that we both use the same porn site.
It's true.
And I asked
I feel
if
like
you think there's a time.
It's a pretty normal.
That's a pretty popular one, yeah. But
Yeah.
I do seriously hope that at some point, I'm just gonna start texting you every time I'm about to watch porn, in hopes that you'll just text back like, me too.
God, that'd be awkward, dude.
Is that sexting? See, I'm like old and married, so I don't understand the sexting thing. Does that count as sexting?
I don't think so. I think it just sort of are you a fan of Scrubs, the show?
No, I never really got into that show.
Okay, well there was an episode where it was like a musical.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Zach Braff and Donald Faison, and they're singing a song, and it's called Guy Love.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like a bunch of like, it's like just two bros, but they love each other.
Loving
so
each other.
Yeah. So
That's
it's
fair.
Guy Love, and I think that sort of falls into the same sort of.
Oh, does porn push that too far from guy love to just straight gay love?
I don't know. I mean, what would you consider you and Joe's rooming situation when you guys were at Graceland? Because there was a lot
of nakedness and porno, I guess.
There was. It was weird. It was really weird.
Not weird in like a sexual way. Weird, I guess, kind of sexual because it's porn. But I mean, when you come across something really funny, you got to share it with your friends. And sometimes you're gonna come across a questionable porno video. And I think, as a good friend, it's my responsibility to share that with you.
I think that the first introduction to Two Girls, One Cup happened in you and Joe's
room. Two Girls, One Cup. I also really liked One Guy, One Jar.
Is that the one where he sat on it and it broke in his ass?
Yeah. Thanks for spoiling it for everyone. But yeah, Mom, please don't look up either of those videos.
You could, but it's going to be super awkward. Like,
oh man,
go into it knowing that you were told not to look it up. But if you look it up, then it's on you.
Just YouTube videos of people's reactions to those videos. That's all you need to see. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, like people like get physically ill. Like I've seen some of those reactions where people just like vomit on
just immediately
on cue. Yeah,
which in my opinion is justified.
I think I also saw Kids in the Sandbox.
That's a good one too.
You're like getting all nostalgic over
it's
these
so
really
nostalgic,
really awful pornos. You're like, man. Oh man, good times with Kids in the Sandbox.
Kids in the Sandbox still just makes me squeam a little bit, squirmish.
I think squeaming is probably the right term, even though I don't think that's an actual term.
Yeah, it makes me feel a little bit weird, But hey, man, if that's your jam.
Yeah, I mean, things don't belong in my peehole. That's all I'm saying. Even parasitic worms don't belong in my peehole.
Don't even say that.
Have you heard about that?
Yeah, that
or there's like a type
Amazon.
It's there's that, and then there's a type of fish.
A fish?
A small fish. Yeah. Oh. There's a small fish that is attracted to, I think it's the ammonia or something like that.
So it swims up your peehole.
Right up the peehole, dude.
How do you? Oh god.
Where you going, babe? Oh, I'm just going fishing.
Just in going the peehole.
Yeah. That's awful.
Yeah, I agree. Of all of the crevices and holes and cracks in my body, the peehole is definitely a no-go zone.
Yeah, it's off limits. It's like that's like probably numero uno, and then the fudge factory. We also don't venture into the fudge factory.
Zach, you're you gotta broaden your horizons a little bit here.
All right.
Remember, Zach, if you're not 2 knuckles deep, it's not clean.
Yeah. You said that before. I think that's gonna be well, maybe, you know what? Maybe we just start a new thing up, and that's how we end the podcast every time. You throw out that reminder every single time for every episode.
There we go. And remember, friends, if you ain't 2 knuckles deep, you ain't clean.
It's like a weird Mr. Rogers.
Oh God.
Oh man, that would have been a weird childhood.
I was gonna ask you a pretty grotesque question, but I'm just gonna
go for it. Nope.
I was gonna say, if you had a choice between getting glassed, which is the technical term for having something shoved up your urethra, or getting, well, I will just say the 2 girls, 1 cup situation, what would you prefer?
Which one am I? Well, I guess it doesn't matter because they both ended up.
Yeah, you're the one getting you're the one getting something shoved in your pee hole, or you're the one. Basically, okay, we'll just break it, because if you haven't seen 2 Girls, 1 Cup by now, I'll save you some challenges. It's basically 2 girls who are making out, and you're like, yeah, this is sweet, this is nice, little lesbian scene. Not like, not my go-to, but I can, a little bit of it, sure. And then I think the first step is they have like a wine glass, like they're drinking wine, and then one finishes it, and then the other girl poops into the wine glass. Which
that was like a martini glass.
A martini glass, yeah. Which by itself is, definitely outside of my my world of appreciation in sexual arts. And it goes one step further, and then the girl who's holding the martini glass full of poop starts eating it like a bloody ice cream cone. And that progresses basically to these 2 girls eating each other's poop and then throwing up into each other's mouths. Just poopy throw up in their mouths. So yeah, Zach, would you rather have...
that's a Friday. That's just a Friday.
That's just a regular Friday.
Yeah. No, I would... oh God, if I had to choose between the 2...
Like a spoonful... Would you rather take a spoonful of poopy puke vomit?
Yes.
Or have something. Yep. What about a catheter?
I've never had one of those, but I assume they give you some sort of...
No, I think they just go right in there.
They don't give you any kind of pain management?
What are they going to give you a needle to freeze your wiener? Like, come on.
And they'll probably give you a local anesthetic.
Well, they lube it up. That counts,
They put some KY on it. It's all good. No, man. I don't know. God, that's a terrible thing to have to choose between, but I think I'm definitely not... don't mess with my dick, It's sort of like Texas. It's sort of like Texas. You don't mess with Texas.
Yeah, you just...
Don't mess with my dick.
Stay away from the pee hole.
Yeah. Yep. That is a definite... That's like when you... for like theme parks or, any like a sporting event or something, like when you buy your ticket, it's only good for one. Like once you go in, you can't come back out and then get back in. Like it's like going to a baseball game,
Yeah. So, have you ever had an STD check before?
No, but I'm clean, dude.
Well, I mean, I suppose you are, because you're married and have kids and whatnot. But even when you were young and free and rambunctious?
Well, my version of young, free, and rambunctious was probably not the same as everybody else's.
That's a good point. So I have a funny STD check story, but I mean, obviously people know where we went to school, and it may or may not involve a person in that town.
Okay.
Can I share that?
I mean, as long as you don't say names, I think we're okay.
All right. So I had let's just say, rambunctious evening somewhere in the state of Iowa at some point.
Somewhere in the state of Iowa at some point. A field. It was just in a cornfield somewhere, probably.
Yeah, I love those cow patties. But I decided that I should make sure that I, get a health check. So the standard protocol for a male STD check is testing the skin inside your urethra.
Okay.
Oh God, I'm loving watching your face right now. We should screenshot this, and that should be the picture of this episode. So how they do that is they take a Q-tip and they place it up your urethra, about an inch or so, inch and a half.
Oh my God, dude!
They wait a little bit, and then they pull it out. And essentially, what happens is the lining, the urethral wall, dries and sticks to the Q-tip. So they're removing urethra skin, and that's what they test for like STDs and stuff. It definitely is not an enjoyable experience. I've had it done a couple times because you got to like to be safe.
Sure.
This one time in a doctor's office in somewhere in the state of Iowa, I would say they're a smaller doctor's office.
Sure.
I went in, didn't want it to be, a big thing, and just kind of was like, hey, I had a sexual encounter and want to make sure that, I'm okay. So this doctor is like, oh, yeah. Okay, that's easy. It's a dude, by the way. And he's like, all right, well, we start with a visual inspection. Like, he's like, do you notice anything? Are you having pain? Is there like discharge? I'm like, no, like no symptoms. I just want to get it in, make sure it's good.
Sure.
So he's like, okay, well, I guess we'll administer a test. So he like rolls over to me. He's like, hey, stand up and like pull your pants down. He like rolls over to me in his office chair, puts on one glove, is holding my junk while looking up at me, and inserts the Q-tip with a hand that's not gloved.
Oh God! Oh no! Wait, why isn't it flipped?
I don't know why he didn't glove the other hand, but
you gotta handle those balls, gently.
Well, the gloved hand was the hand that was touching me.
Right.
So, God, I'm really sorry, Mom.
Well, hey, we told her.
Yeah, that's true. You've been warned. Anyway, so it takes like a couple seconds. I gotta leave it in there, right? So he's basically sitting on this rolly chair. I'm standing up. My junk is like face level for him. He's holding it with one hand. And he's like asking me about like the local sports team while it's waiting for it to dry. I'm like, my junk is like right there, dude. Like, can you just pull? I was like, can you just pull this out, please? He's like, oh no, we got to give it sufficient time to seal or something. He said, I don't know, some weird medical term. And I was like, what does that mean? He's like, oh, it's done. And he rips it out. And I was just like, oh. So
God.
That was my that was a experience with Peehole penetration. I would not recommend it. Also,
No.
I don't know how people get into that as like a sexual pleasure point.
Yeah, that's definitely a weird thing. I will say, I went through the process. Me and the wife decided we were done with kids. We're done having kids. So I already went through the process of getting the old snip.
Mm-hmm. How'd that go?
Well, it's been a couple years now, but it was good. Good as it can be. It was minimal pain. Like it was just sort of weird that I'm just sitting, pretty
Were you
much
awake? You're awake for it, right?
Oh yeah. They give you just like a local. They rub like
some numbing cream on it.
Pretty
some
much.
Oragel.
Pretty much, man. And they also gave you a Xanax, like one Xanax to take before you came in, like an hour before. And so, I remember going in, and it's just awkward because like I'm just sort of spread eagle, just like my junk's just out there, and he's asking me similar questions like about local sports teams and what.
Just like, yeah, can we not talk right now?
I'm just like, dude, just like find that vas deferens, snip that shit, and let's get done.
Let me put my pants on.
Yeah, I'm done. And they like burn it, so that it doesn't like fuse. So it doesn't fuse back together. And so
you
get the smell of
your burning testicles.
Yeah, the ends. Well, it's, yeah. I mean, basically, but it was very strange. But I don't think I've ever seen a any kind of like weird pornos about people getting the old snip. You know, I don't think
I don't think that's a. Well, there might be some kind of weird fetish. I'm just gonna start trying to find the most fucked up shit again and send it to you, just so you know I'm thinking of you.
You know, I really feel like we need to. It's like the rebirth of. It's like GU Part 2. You know, and me, and Joe are all on text thread together.
Sharing is caring, man.
Sharing is caring, and iMessage has gotten so much. Like you can watch videos and stuff inside of iMessage now. That's true. So.
We every 69 episodes, can we do a porn review like Academy Awards?
I love it. I wish we would have thought about it. I would have gotten like an episode together and stuff, but I didn't even. You're like, that was the first thing you said when we jumped on the Skype call. You're like, what episode is this? It's like 69. Oh no,
we did not prepare enough for this because we
ill prepared.
We could have had some sweet sponsors. We could have wrote some bits. I would have wore a much different outfit. I would have put on like some leathers or something.
I would have just gotten a big old. I would have looked like one of those dudes at the sporting events, like the mascots. But I would have just been a big cock.
A big wiener. Just
yeah.
Big hairy wiener. You'd fit in that real well, you know?
Thanks, man. Thanks, dude.
Hey, Zip It Zach, we need to show some love for our sponsor, Audible. For you, the listeners of Jumbled Podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. That's right, a free book, free 30-day trial. What more could you want? Saving you, I don't know, like $30 or something? I use Audible. Zach uses Audible. A bunch of our listeners use Audible. They all like it. You're going to like it too. Hell, you might even love it. I know I do. Anyways, this month's book is going to be At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed, the first ever romance novel for dudes, written by yours truly, Ross Patterson. Now, I must warn you, this is an adult content book, but it is absolutely hilarious. If you like westerns, shoot 'em ups, actions, lovemaking, drug use, horses, kids covered in gold, spoiler alert, sorry, you should check out this book. It's absolutely hilarious. The Audible is fantastic. It's not a monotone narrator reading you a book. Ross Patterson himself with some of his friends do all the voice acting. It's extremely engaging. It felt like I was listening to a movie in my head for about 8 hours. Absolutely check it out. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/jumbled. Again, that's audibletrial.com/jumbled for your free audiobook. Now back to the show. Do you think that like double dude 69ing is very dangerous? Like the guy on the bottom is like, how do you manage that, you know?
Unless you're like doing like a weird like lay on your side sort of scenario.
I imagine they have to side 69.
Yeah.
Which to me is just not gravity, as good.
Gravity just sort of will fuck you up there.
Yeah, you penetrate your brainstem.
How'd you get that traumatic brain injury?
Well, let me tell you.
As I type it out on my keyboard, let me tell you. Because I can't form words anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Man. This episode, dude.
Yep.
So, did we rehash yet? You took a vacation?
No, we did not. Yeah, so I was on vacation. That's why I wasn't here 2 episodes ago. It was fantastic. A much needed 8 days in Ontario with our former fact checker Mike, who is currently fired.
Currently fired. I like how you're keeping it open for, maybe if he gets his shit together.
Maybe if he gets his shit together, we'll take him back. He does have a nice microphone, and it's sitting on his desk. I just know he's really busy right now. He's a refrigeration mechanic. He does industrial stuff. And it's summer, and it's really hot in London, Ontario. Not all of Canada is the tundra all the time. So he's working, 80-hour weeks right now. So it's tough for him to get in. But I'm sure over the winter, when he's a little bit slower, he'll he'll get back on board. But
he's got a backlog. He's just keeping notes on all of the stuff. We're gonna have basically one episode where it's just Mike.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that actually. But yeah, we rented a cottage on the lake, Lake Muskoka in Ontario. I say cottage, but it was like a 3,000 square foot house. So, it's not really.
Yeah, I think
rustic
when I think of a cottage, I'm like, oh, so it's like it's like basically
a one room dwelling that has like a bed and a stove in it,
and like a half bath.
Yeah, no, this was a beautiful mansion on the lake. Our other buddy brought his wakeboard boat, so we did a lot of wake surfing. I did some kayaking. I did face my fear of personal watercraft, a small personal watercraft. So we kayaked every morning, which was pretty sweet. Put on a shit ton of weight, but you know what? Getting married, so I ain't got anyone to impress.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I was keeping up with you on Instagram and Snapchat and all that stuff. So
yeah, I sent some marginally inappropriate Snapchats, including a video of Cody half passed out on the dock, which we probably shouldn't have left him alone. Peeing off the side of it. Though part of me was actually hoping he would roll over into his own pee water. Although, I mean, it's into the lake, so it's diluted, obviously. But I still think it would be pretty funny. But then I thought about that I was also 3 stories up from where he was, and a bit of a hike to get to him. So he would have been fine. He's a firefighter. He'd have been fine.
I don't think that firefighters are totally
waterproof,
incapable of drowning. I don't think.
Oh my god, he told me the best firefighter story ever. And I think it compares. Like, everyone loves hearing, like if you have a friend who's a cop, like, tell me your crazy like encounters or crazy people you come across, or someone's in the military and they share a war story. That's pretty cool to hear too, or what life was like overseas and whatnot. I never really thought about firefighter stories, and we were like sitting around the fire, fairly intoxicated. It was late at night, and I was asking him because he's been a firefighter for about 3 years now. Before that, he was a power engineer, which is what I used to do before I came to Graceland. And he was making a shit ton of money in the oil sands doing that. And I was like, how do you go from that to making significantly less money as a firefighter? And he's like, oh, I wanted to like help people and do something different with my life, and I wanted to be closer to home and whatnot. And he's like, plus it's we hear a lot of funny, you experience a lot of funny stories, or you have a lot of funny stories from doing it. And I was like, huh, like what? And he's like, well, we don't actually fight fires a lot of the times. A lot of the times we're responding to like EMS calls, or like anywhere paramedics go in Canada, firefighters have to go as well. Or car accidents. He said a lot of car accidents. But he did tell me this one story where they fought this fire, and it was like a multifamily home, like a duplex kind of thing that caught on fire, and they were fighting it, and they got everyone out, and then it's like the classic, like, oh, my cat is still in there.
Fuck your cat. Your cat's dead.
Well,
Jingles is gone.
Well, they weren't having that. They were committed to getting the full save. So 2 dudes go in, pull out this limp cat out of the fire.
Oh no.
Like, pull it down, and then I didn't realize this, but firefighters and EMS carry, well, firefighters, I can't speak for EMS specifically, or EMT, sorry, have pet CPR kits. So they do pet CPR on this cat. Cat comes to life. It's a miracle. There's like a bunch of people standing around the fire, like watching the fire, watching the firefighters work. So it's like very cinematic.
Had their marshmallows.
Pull this, roasting marshmallows, enjoying the warmth. So it's a very cinematic moment where they go into the house, they pull out this cat, and everyone's like clapping, cheering, they're excited, and they give the cat over to the owner, and they're really happy, blah blah blah. And this was near, like, they pack up and they were like doing a rotation or something. Fire's like contained. So the owner's still holding the cat, like everything's chill. They're getting in their trucks and everyone's like waving them goodbye. And they honk their horn which is like traditional, like, hey, bye, like, sorry your house burnt down, but nice meeting you kind of thing. So they blow their horn twice, like bomb, bomb, and then they start driving, and everyone's like waving at them, like two hands, like hey, 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 and they thought that it was just like them waving goodbye. So they're like waving back, like, yeah, see you guys, bye, like, thanks for supporting firefighters, whatever, blah blah blah. They get to the fire hall. 8 hours later, their chief comes in and was like, so good job last night, boys. Almost a clean save. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we got everyone out and we saved the cat. And they're like, yeah, you ran over the cat on your way out. And apparently what happened when they blew the horn, the cat flipped its shit. Obviously, it's pretty traumatized at that point. Jumps out of the owner's arms and starts running like under the fire truck. And everyone that's like waving at them, like excitedly goodbye, was trying to tell them to stop, but they couldn't hear or see or like understand whatever.
No.
They ran over the cat.
Oh, Jingles.
Yeah, Jingles got fucked up. Jingles had 9 lives, was down to his last one when they did CPR.
Oh, fuck, man.
So he tells it a lot better, obviously, but I just thought that was just what, like, a shitty way to, you go home back to your fire hall and you're celebrating like you saved these lives and stopped the fire from like spreading to other homes and like even saved the cat, and then your chief comes back and is like, yeah, I just had to fill out paperwork because you guys crushed the cat that you saved.
Oh, God. That's so sad, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of the more sad stories I think I've ever heard. Because it's like everybody's just like the emotions, right? You're terrified.
You saved the cat.
Because...
And then you killed the cat.
Yeah. You're terrified because your house is ablaze. All of your belongings, all of your memories, everything in there that's important to you is gone.
Yep.
You get everybody out. Oh no, the cat's in there. You're scared for the cat. Get the cat out. Oh no, is the cat gonna make it? The cat makes it. Oh God, so happy, and then
splat.
Terrified, and then mourning, and then probably a little bit angry. I would assume.
An emotional roller coaster. But yeah, he had some pretty funny stories. So our thing, which he's traveled with Mike a couple times, but because he's a firefighter, so he always jokes. And calls Mike Captain Mike. And I guess they were at a bar and it started as a joke, and like some girls were like, wait, you're like Captain Mike? Like, what are you captain of? And Cody's like, oh, he's a captain of our fire hall. And they're like, you guys aren't firefighters. And Cody has his badge. So he'd be like, oh yeah, we're firefighters. And he would like pull out his badge, and they were going on about like how they're firefighters, and Mike is too shy to like correct it, and then just had to go with it. So they were in Nashville, and they went to a bar and said they were Engine 23, and that they were firefighters as like their bar pickup line. So that tradition, I guess, joke carried forward on this past week because it was Mike's bachelor party. So everywhere we went, we were Engine 23, and then our tagline was, what was it? The heroes you don't need or deserve. It's just that guy, the firefighter guy, he's just fucking hilarious and just goes with it. And apparently when they were in Nashville, someone called them out on that. There was another firefighter was like, oh, like, you're firefighters? Oh yeah, we're from Canada, blah blah blah, and started asking a bunch of questions to Mike, but Mike doesn't know any of the answers, so he just like was drinking his beer, and then Cody like stepped in and started answering all the questions. I was like, you guys are idiots. Like,
oh God. Yeah, at least that's not like the extremes. Like you hear like assholes like impersonating, like people in the armed forces or something that. Like,
yeah, the stolen valor stuff.
Yeah, that's like a different level of shit, But
so
at least, if you want to act like a fireman, like what little boy didn't want to be a fireman?
I wanted to be a fire truck when I was a kid. I vividly remember that.
Just the truck?
I just wanted to be the truck.
Johnny wanted to be a fire truck. You know what? You can do anything you want in this world. I want to be a fire truck.
Anything but that.
Bro, I
Oh
can't.
god.
A fire truck, man. Oh Jesus, it's too funny.
So it was a pretty good vacation. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
It was really funny, and just hearing some of those stories of just the life that they live, and it's such an interesting career choice because he'll be like, "Yeah, I'll go to work for they do 24 hours on." He's like, and if we don't get a single call, it's like I'm just hanging out with 10 dudes. We're playing video games. They have chores, right? Like they have to clean the fire hall in the morning and like prep their gear, and like they'll do some training. But he's like, a lot of times it's like we hang out, we make breakfast, we clean up, we work out, and then it's like, all right, let's watch a movie, let's play basketball, let's play video games, let's do this, and then they go to bed. And if they don't get a call, it's just like pretty chill. And he's like, and I get paid, great.
Yeah, that's not a bad life, dude.
No, but
I mean,
when
granted,
shit hits
there are
fan,
the moments.
Yeah,
there are the moments where you do got to nut up and run into a burning building,
or a car or something, and yeah. So it's an interesting lifestyle. It was pretty cool to actually talk to someone about what that lifestyle is like and whatnot.
Yeah,
so.
my grandpa was a volunteer firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
For a while. I don't think he does it anymore, but yeah, that's a different kind of work, man. Yeah, somebody's got to do it,
That's true. I thought it'd be kind of a cool adventure because Cody started. He's about my age, so he started later in life too. I think there's a lot of younger people who get into firefighting in like the early 20s, and he kind of went in as late 20s, early 30s now.
Yeah.
But I also really appreciate my air-conditioned office,
100%, yeah. Yeah, there aren't flames licking you on the face. Yeah. That's... I think that sort of wins out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have... I have all of my notes here from the solo podcast, which I hope I did an okay job on.
Yeah, man, you did a great job. I listened to it, and I was thoroughly impressed and proud. And you did give me the opportunity to do it again the next week. Yeah. And I wasn't stepping up to that challenge. That's
yeah, no, it's all good, man. I didn't want to do the solo podcast because I didn't feel prepared at all, but somehow an hour flew by and I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll just roll with it.
That's so I was listening to our dear friend Joe Rogan, and he had a guest, George St. Pierre's head coach. You know who GSP is, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And he was talking about flow state, which is like finding the right balance between challenge and fun. Meaning if something's too easy and you're succeeding at it too fast, you get bored. And if it's something's too hard, you get a lot of anxiety or frustrated and you stop doing it. So it's, he says he tries to train GSP around that flow state, and you're in the flow state when you're doing something and then you look at the clock and like, holy shit, 2 hours have gone by.
Right.
And it felt like you kind of found that flow state where you rose to the challenge. There's obviously would be some anxiety in doing it. But you did pretty damn good, bud.
Thanks. I do have all of my notes here. So I don't know if there's anything you wanted to touch on, but there was so I talked about Trudeau's eyebrows.
Oh,
what's up with that? Do you know what that's all about?
What? Yeah, what are you guys getting? So it's interesting, the media. So we've talked about it a bit before, going to school in the U.S. and having a lot of U.S. friends who are just the U.S. like Democratic, left wing Americans just love Trudeau. I've never heard anything about his eyebrows before, though. Okay,
there was a CNN article, and I mean, this is, part of it's just like the 24-hour news cycle.
It's a slow news day. Clearly, you're talking
trying to find something. Gotta get something on the news. I don't know exactly what it was about. I had guessed that he had, maybe taped some caterpillars to his head or something like that. I didn't know what.
Yeah, I have not heard anything about that here. I mean, he's an interesting guy. I won't say good or bad things because, I mean, I'm neutral on him personally.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to get political. I didn't. Yeah, that wasn't the intention at all. But
yeah, that's funny that's the story that makes its way. Not the legalization of marijuana across Canada.
Woo!
So that goes into place, I think they said in October or something, into the summer. I can't remember when. But it was officially, the bill was passed and voted on and passed. So marijuana will be completely legal across Canada in the next 4 months or so.
Dude, that's sick. Is there any is there anything about like transporting large amounts of it?
So I think it's going to be province to province, and it'll be personal use. I think is up to an ounce. Like, you can own more at your house, but if you're carrying it on your person, it can't be more than an ounce worth of marijuana product.
Okay, I gotcha.
Which is pretty standard. I think that was the law that was the difference between a possession charge and a trafficking charge for marijuana. So they're just kind of keeping that consistent. So if you're carrying less than an ounce, it was just personal use is what they called it. So it was a possession charge. So it's going to be pretty exciting, though. I see what it does to our economy and tourism. I know it's been really successful in the few states that it's taken place in down south. It'd be interesting to see how a whole country responds to it. Obviously, there's a bunch of people who are not pleased about it while they're, smoking cigarettes and drinking beer. So,
yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know why people have such a big problem with it, but it is what it is. Personally, I'm just waiting on that moment for America as well, but I don't foresee that happening for a bit.
I don't imagine while your current POTUS is in power. Man. The bloatest POTUS.
Speaking of, and I'm not getting political at all, but I just think it's so funny how he's clearly just not paying attention to what other people are saying, because there's all this talk that people have about immigration and families getting ripped apart at the border and stuff like that, and I'm not going to even touch on that because I could talk for another 2 hours on that alone. But Melania went down there and she was visiting one of the places or whatever, and
what was the deal with her jacket?
She wore a jacket that said I don't care, do you, or something like that. And it was like a really weird sort of callous sort of thing. Apparently she didn't wear it when she visited the places, but she wore it when she was leaving Washington. And their press secretary, or not press secretary, but whoever was like, oh, it was just, she grabbed a jacket and she didn't even, it was just a mistake. She didn't even
she just grabbed a jacket.
Yeah, whatever. I don't believe it. But that was, at least that was, something that tried to smooth it over. And then Trump out of nowhere is just like, oh no, it was a political statement to all the, fake news or whatever. And it's like, Trump's not even on board, he's not even on board with like trying to push the same message.
No, he just does his own thing.
He's going renegade and just saying whatever the fuck comes out of his mouth.
Not to get too political again, although we're walking on a slippery slope here about the tariffs that were put in place by Trump on Canada, saying that we're a threat to national security for the U.S. And did you hear that Trudeau called him, because it has huge economic impacts on both our countries, and I think it's actually going to end up being worse for you guys than it is for us. And Trump talked about the War of 1812 and how Canada burnt down the White House, and Trudeau was like, we were still British at that time.
Yeah, we're
like still... our country wasn't even formed yet. And he's like, no,
still a colony.
Yeah. No. You're a threat to our national security.
Yeah,
so we can't buy your aluminum. Okay.
Whatever, dude.
But Trudeau, although I love and hate him at the same time, I thought he did something really strategic, and Canada countered by putting tariffs on the primary exports of all of the red and swing states to put pressure on Trump.
I love that.
Which I think is brilliant, because I think well, every political party's voter base has to know that there's repercussions to their actions and who they vote in. And I think it's important for politicians to know that those people see those repercussions. And as much as it sucks that it's probably going to mean a lot of farmers is what it's going to target. I know a lot of it was food-based product or stuff like that.
Sure.
Are going to suffer. I think it's really good for them to see that, isolationism isn't really a good direction to go.
No.
Because that trade street is a two-way street.
100%.
And typically we were getting the shitter end of the deals anyways, because we're smaller. So now all you did was just fuck yourself, Trump.
Yeah, well, I'm just waiting on 2020 to come around, 20...
Dwayne Johnson, here we go.
Here we go. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Honestly, at this point, I don't they could elect anybody at this point now.
I heard Kim Kardashian's thinking about making a run for it.
It'd just be A&T Thursdays. She would just do her she would just address the nation wearing basically nothing or doing her whatever that photo shoot. You remember that photo shoot she did where she was like, I forget what.
In the shower or something? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like champagne or something like that.
God bless
right?
America. That's the route that your country's going.
God. Yeah, well, we'll see how it all pans out. It's
It'll
sort
be
of
interesting for sure.
Interesting, yeah.
So it's not related to our conversation at all, or 69 Day. But I thought I would share a funny situation that Allie and I found ourselves in this past week or so, whatever. Okay. So I came home after vacation and turned on my TV because I'm going to watch some episodes of some shows that I didn't get to watch while I was away. Sure. And I turn on the TV, and Apple TV turns on, and it's playing Coronation Street. And I was like, that's weird. So I exit out, and it was under our recently purchased. And I was like, weird. Why would Al buy Coronation Street? And thought nothing of it, whatever. And I was watching my show, and then Al got up because I get up early. So that's usually when I watch the shows that I know Al's not going to want to watch. And she comes outside, and she sees me navigating through the menu. She's like, when did you start watching Coronation Street? I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't buy Coronation Street. It was on here when I got home from Ontario. Like, you bought it. She's like, I didn't buy that. Turns out we've gotten to the habit of leaving our Apple TV remote on our couch, not like on the armrest or on the coffee table, and our dog's like sleeping on it. So Gus, we're blaming Gus. He butt purchased all of Coronation Street on my iTunes.
So I don't know anything about that show. Is that a popular show?
I think it's a British show that's fairly popular in Canada. I didn't even look at how much it cost, but we own all of the seasons now.
That just says so much about just how you feel about the show.
I would never pay for it. I remember it being on when I was a kid, and some people liked it, and I was just like, it's very dry British humor. It wasn't my jam. Right. Maybe I'd appreciate it now. I'm probably going to watch it just to, get my money's worth out of it.
Just be like, okay, whatever.
So I shit you, I don't know what he's done because it goes one step further. So we got the new Apple TV, and truthfully, I didn't read all the new perks that the difference is from the first one. I just know it has a stupid touchscreen remote that I hate. But apparently there's a way that you can push like your favorites on like one button or like one button combo or something, and it will immediately go to that show. So we were joking about this Coronation Street, and then 2 days later we're watching Netflix. Gus jumps onto the couch, sits down, and he sits down on the remote, and whatever he pushes, it immediately starts playing Coronation Street again. I was like, God damn it, Gus, we don't want to watch Coronation Street. Like, fuck off.
He's just dead set on watching Coronation
Street. Yeah, he's
Street,
done it 3 times now, where he just sits down on the remote when Coronation Street starts playing. was like, piss off,
does
dude.
Does it do like asshole detection or something like that?
It
does
must,
it
because he's a giant asshole, that's for sure.
Is it like fingerprint scanner, but it's like an asshole scanner? So anytime it detects his asshole, then it knows to play Coronation Street?
Something like that. I don't know, but I was just... Allie and I had this argument of like, you bought Coronation Street. No, you bought Coronation Street. Like, God damn it, dog. So now we got to put the remote somewhere more difficult to sit on, I guess. I don't know.
Right, yeah. Well, you know, those corgis, man.
That was a rough week. Let me tell you, that week that I was gone, Al, I think, really questioned about why we had 2 dogs. Because one morning she texted me. She's like, I'm an hour and a half late to work. First me, she was like really pissed. I was like, whoa, what happened? She's like, your stupid fucking dog climbed up onto his kennel and knocked over his giant food bin, and there's food everywhere, and they both just eaten it. So they found a way to get onto our couch, and then onto the back of our couch, and then onto their kennels where we store like their big bin of food, and knocked it over, and then was eating it, and then he apparently ate so much he threw up. So Al like is trying to get ready for work, comes out, and there's food and throw up everywhere. And these dogs just being complete idiots, and it made her late, and then she got stuck in traffic, and I was pretty sure I was going to come home to an empty household. But the dogs are still here, so that's good. But Gus is definitely no longer the favorite.
Yeah, you'll have to put all the food in like in a big bin. That's what we do. We have a bin with the lid on lid on top of it.
Because their kennels are a bit tall. They're like probably 2.5 feet tall. 2 feet tall. It took a far enough tumble that the lid popped off. Like the latches broke off and spilled probably like 4 gallons of food like everywhere.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was. And you're on vacation. Fucking dogs. Wake me up. Spill their food. Puke everywhere. I was like, okay, I'm about to get on the boat now. I'll talk to you later. Love you. Bye.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
Oh man, yeah. You're leaving all your troubles behind, and hopefully you come back and
did my best.
Everything's
there,
normal.
Yeah. So
try to make it up. Well, I don't know.
On that note, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, let's wrap this thing up, man. Well, Johnny, it's been good to see your face, bud. It's been long enough where I was starting to get some Johnny withdrawals, and we what, as much as we weren't prepared for episode 69, I feel
we pulled it off. Well, we had a practice episode, so that helped.
Yeah, we had to practice 30 minutes, so we knew sort of where to go and where not to go. But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and make sure to tune in for the next one. Want to let you guys know real quick, we're on social media. Just search for Jumbled Podcast. If you want to send us an email, jumbledpodcast@gmail.com. Obviously, you are listening to us, so you found out somewhere to listen. But we are, if you wanted to know, we're on iTunes, we're on SoundCloud, we're on Google Play Music, we're on Stitcher, we're on Player.fm. But wherever you're listening, if you would please go over to iTunes and leave us a rating or review just to let us know how we're doing, that'd be great. And if you want to be a patron to the podcast, head over to patreon.com/jumbled. Give what you feel comfortable with. Wanted to give another shout out to our sponsor, Audible. Head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled for your free 30-day trial and free audiobook. Take advantage of it because it's a good deal. And that's going to do it, guys. Again, hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you guys next week for another episode of Jumbled, your favorite podcast
about peehole penetration.
Gross, man. See ya.
Bye.